Hey everybody, coming up on the Geek.0 podcast, Season 3, Episode 7. We went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and we're going to share our thoughts with you on that glorious flick. Wonder Woman has seen an initial release to the press, and the reviews, I gotta say, are looking pretty awesome. Netflix is working currently on an anime version of Castlevania to be released as a series, and so far the trailer looks dope. And Dubai has let loose the robot cops. Should we start fearing Skynet? All that and more coming up on Geek.0.
What? When did we get a theme song?
Hey, you gotta step up sometime, dude. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Geek.0 Season 3, Episode 7. I am Shawn Michael.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to the podcast. So we got good, cool stuff to talk about today. We apologize for the delay. We have been gone and away for a while, and that's just the nature of two people who do this as a hobby and a passion and not as their full-time job. We can't keep on it consistently as much as we would like to, but I promise to you all that we are working diligently to do the best we can.
Well, I'm going to completely and 100% blame it on hotel Wi-Fi because we're wanting to make this accessible on YouTube as well, not just on iTunes or Mixler or wherever you happen to consume the podcast. So, you know, when you're only getting 3.5 megs of internet service on the premium internet plan at a hotel,
Indeed,
it's kind of hard to record Skype. And I just dropped my pen, and I'm trying to pick it up with my monkey toes. And
you just said monkey toes.
Oh yeah, I can almost pick up a baseball. It's quite impressive.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Thanks, orangutan feet.
All right. So,
nice inauspicious start to the show.
Indeed.
Very professional.
So, Guardians 2, man.
Yeah, finally, after 2 weeks, we finally get to talk about going to see this movie.
Oh, so good.
No, well, I guess that answers that question. What did you think of it?
It's just pure magic. It's absolutely fantastic. I think it took everything that the first one did so well. I think they took it to the next level. I like the fact that the story was actually a lot deeper this time. They actually dug into these characters. So there was actually meat on the bones, if that makes sense. And not just humor and action. And, of course, Baby Groot. And, of course, the character who stole the show was Drax.
Right.
Man.
Well, it's interesting. It's actually kind of interesting that you talked about it going into the characters and stuff a little bit more, because I while I agree with you to a certain extent, I've heard several other people that completely disagree with that and feel like the first one actually delved into the group of characters more than because this one did dig more into Quill and his backstory, and all that. And I liked it. I'm not gonna say I loved it. I think because when we first got out of the theater, I was like, "Oh, that's the best Marvel movie ever." And as I had time to sit and think and be a little retrospective of the movie, which may not be the right use of that word, but that's what I'm going with. It was good, but it wasn't great.
Okay.
It was really, really funny.
Yes.
Like you said, Drax was hilarious.
Yes, he was.
And I feel like maybe they went, like, they tiptoed slightly over the line with him. Like, there was a couple times where, because when you look at him in the first volume, he wasn't
campy.
He wasn't punchline, ha ha fart joke.
Right.
Where in this one he was. And so I don't know. I think they could have done a little bit more with Mantis. That character was a bit weak. And it kind of slowed down a little in the middle.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, very much so.
But that's not to say it wasn't very, very good. It was hilarious. And a lot of the action set pieces were spectacular.
Oh yeah.
This there will be spoilers, by the way. So
Yeah, if you haven't seen it by now,
5, 4,
not my
3,
fault.
2, 1. Okay, now we're gonna talk spoilers. What was your favorite scene in the movie?
Ooh, favorite scene. I'm gonna have to go with, unfortunately, probably the scene that was in the trailer so much. So the bomb scene. So because there was so much more to it that we found out, like in the theater.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
the scene where they're
baby
finally
group
trying to blow up the
and the duct tape. And
yes,
does
and
anybody
the
have any
Nexus,
tape?
and
Yeah.
so we hear all these other characters interacting, and Star Lord and Trash Panda, Rocket Raccoon, fighting over the duct tape and the bomb. I love the atmosphere of that scene. There was some uncertainty to it, and all the stuff that was going on in the background was just comical for me. It was a very I love Lucy-esque moment for me.
I am ready because you said Trash Panda. I'm so ready for the Chinese knockoff toy from Guardians of the Galaxy that's like Torpedo Trash Panda or something like that.
Torpedo Trash Panda. What?
It just popped into my head.
Okay.
It feels like something you'd see on a blister pack at a Dollar General.
Okay, I got you.
Or something like that with like poorly spelled
right.
Guardians without a U in it or something like that.
Guardians.
But
what's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was when Rocket took out the Reavers in the forest.
Oh God, so
I felt like
good.
that to me that was the best action set piece in the movie.
Yeah, that was absolutely.
It was really well done. It had a very ninja like quality to it.
Yeah.
What did you think of the CG in this one?
So
because it was pretty, lots of bright colors.
So I've been a lot of divisive stuff. I think, and this is hard to say because it's one of those movies where so much of it is intended to be CG. I almost feel like it was overused.
Yeah.
And everybody who knows, I mean, anybody who listens to this show, which is 4 of you, and only maybe 1 or 2 regularly, listens to most episodes.
Me, I think.
Yeah. Knows that I'm a big fan of practical effects. I'm a practical effects nut. I think that there's something magical about just physically doing something. It creates a better experience. A CG, if you're going to do it, it's got to be spot on. But I didn't think it was bad at any points in the movie. Let me rephrase. There weren't any points in the movie where it took me out of the movie. Where I was like, what? No.
And that's interesting because I had one spot in particular.
What was it?
It was right at the beginning. Now, and I loved how they did the beginning, where it was just Baby Groot dancing and the entire action.
The battle going on in the background.
The battle was going on in the background. I thought that was brilliant. It was a great way to dive back into the world and to the characters and say, hey, this is what this is. It's going to be funny. It's going to be goofy. It doesn't take itself as serious as Captain America: Civil War. Or anything along those lines. Yeah, this is our fun line of movies.
Okay.
But there was a couple spots where when something real landed behind Baby Groot, like when Drax was laying on the ground behind him, or when he was messing with the boombox.
Yep.
It looked
okay
like a CG character was there.
That
I'm not saying they didn't do a good job. I'm not saying they didn't do a good job of building Baby Groot.
Right.
It just it stood out.
Now that you mention that,
it wasn't like blended into the background well.
Not that whole scene, but there was one specific moment, and that's when Drax's face lands right next to Baby Groot.
Yeah.
It seemed awkward.
Right.
And not from a filmic standpoint, of the characters, but the visuals, the way it was done. Yeah. It was not quite Uncanny Valley. It just wasn't right.
Yeah.
And so, I agree.
There was a flatness to Baby Groot or something. There wasn't the depth there or something.
Something was just off.
Maybe it was the way it was lit or what. It didn't look quite right.
I agree.
But for the rest of the movie, it was definitely bright. It was definitely colorful. There was some good stuff to it. I already sadly started with all the negatives because apparently that I'm a pessimist. what were there a couple things you didn't? Were there some things you didn't like about the movie? I know you were definitely a big fan of it.
Um. So, didn't like about the movie. So this is gonna sound terrible. I wasn't moved by Kurt Russell as the Living Planet. For some reason, that the character, I don't know what it is. Like it wasn't spectacular to me. I wasn't like, oh, this is such a cool arc. It was just a dude. I felt like they could have cast anybody in that particular role. He didn't take it away, and I go, oh man, this role was made for him. So that whole storyline, I guess, as him portraying it, there wasn't anything that caught me as like, oh yeah, that's perfect. As far as I didn't like in the movie, I can't think of anything I didn't like. There were things that that weren't like, how do I phrase it? There wasn't anything that turned me away. So, okay. I mean, there were things that I liked less than I liked other stuff. I just enjoyed it. It was fun. Yeah. And that's what a Guardians movie for me should be.
That's what more movies need to be now.
If I had to complain about anything, I would agree with you. For some reason, about a third of the way in, maybe, for probably 15 minutes, I was just kind of like...
Well, they really dug into the ego. They really dug into the Kurt Russell ego stuff there for a little bit.
Maybe that's why I got... Maybe that's why.
And Quill finding his powers and them having a catch and all that stuff.
I was almost bored. And so...
Yeah, but it was just short enough to keep me from going, okay, let's...
Yeah, exactly. And that's my negative, yeah.
So yeah, they probably could have tightened it up just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
And it probably would have gone up a little bit higher for me. I'll tell you... possibly my favorite performance of the movie was Michael Rooker as Yondu.
Oh, he's so good. Yeah.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. That was great. The end where he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Yeah.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
And all the Reavers coming together for the funeral and everything. It was stupendous. Stupendous. Now I do have one question, because there was a lot of cameos in this movie.
There were, yeah.
What did Sylvester Stallone say to Yondu at the very beginning when he first saw him at the... Do you have any idea? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like one line.
At the bar when he was drinking with his buddies.
Yeah, there's a line Sylvester Stallone delivers. He went 100% Sylvester Stallone. I was like, I needed Sly Stallone translator to understand.
I think he said, "Yo, Adrian, Adrian."
I did it. I found Yondu. So now do you understand? Do you know who they were?
Nope.
Okay. So,
I mean, I know what the story explains, but no concept. Okay.
So Sylvester Stallone, Ving Rhames, Michelle Yeoh, who were the other two? I can't remember who the other one was. And then, believe it or not, the little robot head thing.
Yep.
That was Miley Cyrus.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was her cameo. That was the original lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy. So I guess I have to wonder, because we saw that there was five in-credit scenes, one of which was Adam Warlock, one of which was Teenage Groot, which is going to be really funny in either Infinity War or Guardians 3, having Teenage Groot. But I'm wondering if they're going to do another, like a Guardians spinoff with the original cast all de-aged and fire it up. You know what I mean? Because they were the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, there was some foreshadowing where they showed them collecting together after Yondu's funeral. Right. And for those of us who aren't comic books initiated and familiar with those storylines, obviously there was some foreshadowing there to what may be coming next. I did read a few things from James Gunn regarding, like, you know what I mean? The progressions and the story. Because obviously the internet went nuts after the movie, and he felt the need to take to Twitter to clarify some things, and he clarified some things in some interviews. So apparently, while that scene was set up to show them all together, and there is an intention out there to mention them and kind of there to be a thing about them in Guardians 3, they aren't necessarily going to have a prominent role in Guardians 3. It was more done to just kind of as a mental note to people and to fans, a love note to fans, regarding those original Guardians. And then to clear up misconceptions, because I've seen some people speculating online, this is the Marvel movie. There is absolutely no Infinity Stone in this movie anywhere. Some people thought that maybe at the end over Adam Warlock's thing there was one. He's like, no, there is absolutely no Infinity Stone in this movie. The final one is going to be revealed in Thor.
Infinity. Oh, in Thor. Okay.
In Thor, yep. And I have a whole theory on that, which I talked about when I was on Sift Pop. So I'm very curious about.
Well, now, see, I didn't hear that.
Or maybe it wasn't on Sift Pop. Maybe it was at the theater when I talked to Flick Freaks about it.
It must have been, because I have not heard this, so...
Okay. So...
Enlighten our audience.
So here's my theory.
Michael Rosenbaum was the other person. Lex Luthor from Smallville was the other...
Oh, okay, yep.
The other original, the OG.
The OG Guardian.
OG OTG.
So... The final Infinity Stone, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. If it's the Stone of...
Well, I'm looking.
Okay. So anyway, the final Infinity Stone that is out there, I believe, is in Thor's hammer. It's in Mjolnir. And so the reason for this, it explains a couple of things. It explains why Thor wasn't the only person to be able to pick up Mjolnir. You'll remember who else picked up Mjolnir.
Vision.
Vision, okay. So, and it's because it's an Infinity Stone. Also, it would explain the scene in Thor Ragnarok in the trailer where Hera is able to crush Mjolnir. And I think she's crushing it to get to the Infinity Stone. I think she's drawing on its power to extract it. I think that's where it's been hidden all along. And that's why we haven't encountered it yet. And I think that's where the reveal is going to be for this final Infinity Stone that's sort of been extricated from the universe up to this point. And so that's where the big reveal will be. That's just a theory.
Because there's technically two more stones that we haven't seen.
No.
The Soul Stone and the Time Stone.
Nope, Time Stone was in Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Because he had the Eye of Agamotto.
Yep.
So the Soul Stone's the only one we haven't seen.
Exactly. So that's where it is. It's inside Mjolnir, and we're going to see it in Ragnarok. So I had, up until I considered the fact that up until I saw the interview with James Gunn where he said emphatically there is no Infinity Stone in Guardians 2, right. And I realized that the last chance that we have for this thing to be exposed before we hit Infinity War is Thor 2. There was some question in my mind about the scene.
Unless I just busted out in Infinity War.
It's possible, but I feel like following with everything they've done.
It could be the MacGuffin they're chasing to prevent Thanos from...
That's true.
From assembling the gauntlet or whatever.
I'm telling you, though, I feel there's weight with this. Because when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, so here's the deal. Hera, she destroys Mjolnir in this trailer. So either that's a dream sequence, okay, or that's not a real god, or that's not the real Mjolnir.
Has the ability, and that's possible.
So I was like, but then I thought, oh, what if though? That's where it's been hidden this whole time.
It's an interesting theory. It would be interesting to see the explanation behind the Soul Stone being in Mjolnir. You know what I mean? Because every other one of them has kind of fit in with the name. You know what I mean? Like the Time Stone's in the Eye of Agamotto. The Mind Stone was in the Loki Pokey Stick.
And then the
Power Stone's in Guardians. The Reality Stone was in the Dark World.
What's the red? What was the red weird
That's the Reality Stone.
Yeah, Reality Stone. Yeah, that was a little funky.
Yeah, and it was given to Benicio del Toro, the collector, for safekeeping.
Yeah.
But
I really want to see him again.
I am curious to. I'd like to see him again too. So yeah, I mean, Guardians was great.
Yes.
Well, very good to.
It was very good. It was very good.
Very good to almost great.
It's definitely worth watching if you just love fun movies. It's a must watch.
I would say it's in the top half of the Marvel movies.
Yeah. It's certainly not groundbreaking.
Would you say it was better or worse than the first, or the same?
See, for me, I think the first one introduced me to these characters, so I think it holds a special place for me because this is a side of like the comics. As you know, I'm not a reader of them, but I have a passing familiarity through video games and pop culture and friends who were fans of the comics. So like they're like they're third tier characters, right? And
oh, dude, Guardians of the Galaxy were like 19th tier characters.
Yeah, so all of a sudden they made this movie that made them fantastic. So for me, it was like this really cool thing, and they're a fun group of characters. But this one took those characters and gave them some depth, right? Mm-hmm. They explored Rocket's past a little deeper and touched into his emotional issues. That was great with Yondu and Rocket. Yeah, dude.
Yondu being like, "Boy, I am you."
Yep, and we got to see some deep, jacked up emotional issues with Drax, so that he wasn't just comic relief.
Where Mantis touches his leg and starts to cry when he's talking about his daughter because he can't show emotion apparently outside of humor.
Mm-hmm. And we get to touch into Gamora's family issues and then obviously Peter Quill's ridiculously jacked up family. So
a little bit.
It was fun. I can't say that I liked it more or less than Guardians 1, but I certainly did enjoy it.
Okay. I think I enjoyed this one more. Like, it was more fun, but the first one was a better
movie. Yeah, I get that.
It was kind of the classic
I can get on board with that.
And the introduction, and oh man, you're gonna have to make a profound statement later, and
I will
take those off.
Yes.
And go some kind of awesome pun, so you can go full CSI Miami.
This would be all. My hair's not red enough. My hair's not red enough.
David Caruso.
Yeah, I can't pull off a David Caruso.
So yeah, and now we're leading Guardians of the Galaxy's done, and now we're leading into Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And it sounds like the score is not going to be the only thing that's awesome about Wonder Woman.
So, is it safe to say that? Well, I guess it doesn't really change anything because there isn't anything worth noting in the DC universe so far. This is the DC movie I've been looking forward to. There's not a single DC movie I've been more excited about than this one.
Oh, from the word jump, this is the one that I've wanted to see.
And I fully have wanted to believe in my heart. I don't know if it's going to be the case, but I want to believe, and so I've been telling myself, I'm just speaking it into existence, that this is the movie that's going to turn things around for DC, at least to give them the opportunity to start doing things right. They can still screw it up like they've been doing for so long, but I think Wonder Woman is the perfect opportunity, and it's such a great character to do it. And I love that it's a female-led film, okay? We're having a chance to break into some new characters, and once again, there's undoubtedly going to be some hints at other stuff in the universe leading up to Justice League.
You got to sell the next movie while you're showing this movie.
I have such high hopes for this movie, and it's killing me that we're going to wait another week to go see it. I know. But I have such high hopes for this being super fantastic.
Dude, it looks so good, and so far all the buzz has been positive,
which is good because 2 months ago we were hearing some talk from inside that there were serious problems with the movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hopefully it was, and I can't remember the name of the gal that's directing the flick. And I'm going to apologize, but hopefully she stuck to her guns and told Warner Brothers to back the F off.
Yes.
This is my movie.
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins, thank you. You meddled in the last two, You meddled with the last two, and look what happened. Get away from
Keep your
my
nose
movie
out of
set.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want this movie done right, just let me do my thing. So
Let me make this movie. And hopefully that's the case, because Warner Brothers and their executives need to get away from the movies and let the filmmakers make.
yes, because they have such great talent right in the in-house. Like, just let them do their jobs.
And they keep bringing in better and better talent.
Keep corporate out of it and let the talent do the work, and the profits will roll in. Yes.
Exactly. I do kind of wish they get rid of David Goyer, because I just...
You done?
I just don't like him. I don't think he's just...
I read something the other day that he's...
What is the only reason he's around is so that in the trailer they can write, "From one of the writers of the Dark Knight trilogy." That's literally the reason he's still around.
That's what it is. Green Lantern Corps. So that's what I read about the other day. That's 2020. So he's writing. So
he's writing Green Lantern Corps.
Well, he's at least going to be writing. I don't know if he's going to end up being the sole writer, but yeah.
Oh, he's kind of the guy that's laid out the whole frickin' thing.
All we can say is this, DC.
When he wrote Batman Begins, he wrote The Dark Knight. I mean, I can't be too upset with him.
Yeah, but he also wrote Dark Knight Rises. He
also wrote The Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, and Batman v Superman.
So
just saying. But I mean, he did Constantine, which was good.
Constantine was good.
I mean, he also did Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. He's done a couple of Call of Duty games. So, oh god, he wrote Jumper.
The writing was really good in Black Ops.
Dude, he wrote Jumper.
Oh, dude.
With Hayden Christensen.
Oh man, Jumper doesn't get the credit it deserves.
No, it gets the exact amount of credit it deserves.
Okay.
You can't hire a mannequin to be in your movie and expect it to get any kind of credit whatsoever.
No joke.
George Lucas.
Oh man. So from
anyway, sorry. I got off on a David Goyer.
Wonder Woman looks to be fantastic.
Absolutely.
We have been talking
who
about
helping with the script? David S. Goyer. Just saying.
But here's the deal. So little trivia first, I'm so excited to see Gal Gadot do this. And
everybody has said she is amazing and on point.
And what makes it so much cooler, and this is for all the ladies out there, if you ever want an example of woman power, there were a ton of reshoots apparently in this movie, and she did all the reshoots in this movie 5 months pregnant. So
she was a bad MFer.
So this chick is 5 months pregnant. Yeah.
Father effer? No, I don't.
BDFer, baby daddy ever. So whatever the case is, she literally went in and reshot massive action scenes, okay, in this movie 5 months pregnant. And let's face it, there are women out there who would kill to look that good, okay? It'd be like that, mobile at 5 months pregnant. So more power to you. That woman is not someone I want to meet in an alley, okay?
No.
Because I get a cold and I'm like, everyone go away.
She's from Israel, so she's been in the army.
Yeah, she's no joke.
She's no joke. So everything's, starting to move the right direction for DC. They've had other stuff pop up concerning Zack Snyder that we're not really going to talk about.
Yeah.
It doesn't. If you want to know what's going on with Zack Snyder, Google it.
Yep.
We're not here to talk about it.
Our hearts are with you.
Yes, exactly. That's a terrible situation, and more power to him for making the decision that he made.
Yeah.
That being said, it seems like DC, it's going to be the women that get him on track. You've got Wonder Woman looking good. Joss Whedon's going to is doing some reshoots on Justice League. I'm assuming probably to add more Wonder Woman in because of all the buzz from the movie. And then he's going to do his solo Batgirl, which of course will be great. And we talked at length about that a couple episodes ago. We spent way too long talking about Dreamcasting. as we tend to do.
Yes, we did.
But Netflix is looking like they're coming to the party.
Yes, and they came to play, son.
With something to play. Nice pun.
Yes.
Now
you're playing with power.
Near and dear to my heart, because this was one of my favorite games growing up.
Oh yeah.
Castlevania.
Yeah, this is so good.
I never got to buy games when I was young. We had a Nintendo, and I was lucky that we had a Nintendo. Games were too expensive to buy, so we'd go to the local video store and rent games. Castlevania was usually at least 1 week out of the month every month, or sometimes 2 weeks in a row. Would rent Castlevania. Loved it. Simon Belmont. The OG Castlevania is one of my favorite games of all time.
So, interestingly enough, now that you mentioned that, I don't know if you paid close attention to the trailer, but
I tried.
The trailer is not only dope in that it channels like some old school like 80s anime.
Yeah.
It just has a very Ninja Scrollish and Vampire Hunter D feel to
very
it.
Kind of Akira vibe, kind of.
Yeah,
maybe
it's got a very Vampire Hunter D vibe,
okay.
And so Vampire Hunter D was like just this amazing property from the 80s, and Yoshitaka Amano, who is a god. I mean, there is. Look him up, people. If you don't know Yoshitaka, if you call yourself an artist and you don't know who Yoshitaka Amano is, you're missing out. This man is a legend in the illustration community, and he's responsible for so much incredible art that comes into so many different games. But he's also responsible for a ton of really amazing commissioned work for Final Fantasy. I have books dedicated to his art on my coffee table. But what's really cool is if you watch the trailer seems to be in the vein of like Castlevania 3, which isn't Simon Belmont, that's Trevor, his ancestor.
Yeah.
And the hunt for Dracula. And so I'm super excited to see like where this is going to go. I'm wondering if the guy with the swords in the trailer is Alucard. Could it please be? Because Symphony of the Night is literally one of the finest games I've ever played to this day.
That's a good game. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Netflix is taking on something like this, can we just talk about what unbelievably dope choices Netflix has been making in the last 2 years for content, for original content?
And I got to say, back on the trailer, for the content has been great. All the Marvel shows have been great. I mean, they have like 6,000 shows or something like that. They've got so much stuff I can't keep up with it at this point.
Exactly.
But I love how the trailer started with it being a cartridge being put into an NES.
Hell yes! And they blew it out,
and then it popped up an 8-bit Netflix logo,
and then you could select the menus.
Well, did you pay close attention?
I did. The first thing that popped up.
Kevin Spacey's a picture.
Oh yeah, House of Cards.
And then Piper from Orange is the New Black is the next one.
And you went to Castlevania and selected to play trailer. Yeah.
It was really cool.
So cool. And I love the way that once he hits play trailer, you get like an 8-bit intro of these gates opening and lightning flashing like you would see in a typical Castlevania game before it goes to the straight animation part, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was, I guess, mildly surprised they went with the Japanime style on the artwork.
Instead of a more modern look.
Yeah. And it's more, I guess it's more in my head maybe that, and I'm probably wrong and people can yell at me or whatever, but when I see that look of anime, it makes me go, oh, because I'm not a big Japanime guy. It's never been my bag. And it feels like you either love anime or you don't.
I agree.
And it's a polarizing style. And people that maybe aren't necessarily as familiar with Castlevania may be turned off to it because they're like, oh, it's just some weird anime that I'm not going to watch. So I don't know. I just thought it was a little surprising that was the route they decided to go.
I get that. I will counter maybe with this thought. And so I'm hoping that for a lot of people, I know the part where we bridge to like that side you mentioned where you kind of like anime or you don't, tends to be more into the story than the animation. So what happens with so much Japanime is you'll start watching this fantastically animated thing, and then it goes off the rails into some crazy...
It goes incredibly bizarre.
Like neo-techno tentacle porn stuff.
You beat me to it. I was going to say tentacle stuff.
Tentacle stuff. And then U.S. viewers, unless you're into some weird stuff, and even for some people who are into weird stuff, they look at it and they go, why? And so they lose interest. I feel like the way this is going to be, I think Netflix is going to play things safe. I really do. While I do think that they'll be innovative as far as the storytelling is concerned, I think they're going to stick with more traditional themes, strictly to the games, hopefully, and then take that in a new direction, but not get too stick with the animation style with traditional storytelling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that we don't fall off the rails into, because you're right, you'll end up appealing to a very niche market of people, and then you'll shut out a potential gold mine for potential viewers that might be kind of sucked into this as a new type of, because keep in mind that we're at this point now, and this sounds sad because it makes us feel old, but we're at a point right now where there's there's two generations almost that have never seen traditional anime. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So like this is going to be a chance for them to see like old school. Like, so we saw Robotech, right? Yeah. Or Voltron, excuse me. We saw Voltron redone, but it's got that new art style, right? It's very clean.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's got a Japanime feel to it,
with very clean modern art.
Yeah, because it's got the weird expression faces, and that's all. Yeah. I think that's kind of the biggest thing that's always bugged me about anime is the weird, they get the huge mouth and the tiny face,
and the lines under the eye. Yeah,
the tears shooting off their face or whatever. It's just weird.
The freeze frame. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm just surprised. And folks, if you want to yell at me for not being an anime guy, that's fine.
Here is something for you to put in your box and remember. I was trying to find this, but the series is being written by Warren Ellis and produced by Eddie Shankar, who did Dread and The Grey.
Dread was so good.
So he says that he describes the Castlevania animated series as super violent and hopes the show will set the bar for video game adaptations moving forward.
Somebody needs to set a bar. There's a bar set. It's just
it's so low.
It's way down here.
It's so low. Yeah,
it's low enough that I could jump over.
Ants could step over it. So yeah.
I mean, when Resident Evil is essentially the best video game adaptation. And it doesn't even really adapt the games. It's just a zombie movie that happens to...
Based loosely on principles and game mechanics
loosely gathered around
concepts from, the original game.
Right.
So, yeah, I think this has a huge promise. I agree with you. I feel like it's treading a thin line where they could very easily just turn people away. And I hope Netflix does this right. But they've been batting 1,000. So, like, I'm so excited for Netflix to take this and make it the new franchise, That
reminds
the
me,
new property.
That, speaking of they might be batting 999 right now because they did just cancel the Get Down.
No words. Here, well, no, you know what? Here's the deal. For those of you who have seen the Get Down is Baz Luhrmann at his finest, okay? It's exceptionally well written, but I will say this, as a fan who just binged the crap out of it and then went back and binged it again, it is not for everyone. It is a very unique storytelling style. It's very Baz Luhrmann. It's got some very weird flashback scenes. It's got some odd filming, some interesting editing, and it's essentially a musical for all intents and purposes. And I imagine that it turned away a whole bunch of people just on those premises. Like they thought they heard all the hype, and then they started watching it, and they were like, "Is this a hip hop musical from the '80s?"
Because I tried to watch it and it just didn't grab me.
Oh,
I did.
dude,
I
I'm
tried.
sorry. It's so
and
good.
I may because I don't even know. I think I watched because weren't they like hour and a half chunks or something like that?
Yeah, they were pretty long. Yeah.
So I think I watched halfway or 2/3 of the way through the first episode, or first portion of the mini series or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and it never called back to me. Kind of like Iron Fist.
But Get Down was actually better than Iron Fist.
I guess they're batting .998. No.
So here's the thing. I think the saddest part about the Get Down is, and this is it took some really talented people. Jimmy Smits, Jaden Smith.
I will say I really did like Jim. Did you say Jaden Smith?
Yeah, you didn't.
Really talented.
What?
You said Jaden Smith.
Oh, well, time out. In this, he's fantastic. Okay. I'm not talking After Earth. I'm talking.
Or his rap albums, or his white Batman suit to Kim and Kanye's wedding.
In this show, I was like, wow, dude, you are a character.
I will try to find a clip of him acting in this to see if
But what the really sad part about this is this show was the perfect platform for so many things that have been that Netflix has and other places have gotten wrong. This is a minority driven show, okay, with not only a cast of minorities, okay, but a crew of minorities. So this is a very powerful presence for, you know what I mean? All those shows we've had complaints about being whitewashed. This is a show that has very few white characters, and it's fantastic. And it's great because we get to see that you don't have to replace everyone with a white person, you know what I mean, to make a show marketable. And so it sucks.
Bring in the generic white hero to save the day.
Exactly.
Great Wall with Matt Damon.
Exactly. And so it sucks because Netflix spent a ton of money, and I feel like what they did was they overextended themselves on the expenditures, and that's where the show's going down. Not because of the ratings, because let me tell you, when it came out, you couldn't go on the internet and not see something about the Get Down. And so Twitter was just covered, it was in the news feed. But Netflix, they overextended themselves. They didn't see the return that they wanted on it, which is sad. And so we're done.
And what's interesting with it, because you said something about the Get Down being everywhere, and when Luke Cage came out, it straight up crashed Netflix.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So I think. I think that kind of proves the point. I mean, Blackish is a very huge comedy right now.
Blackish is funny.
Off the Boat is huge
right now.
Fresh
Off the Boat is my jam, dude.
Oh yeah, Fresh Off the Boat, not right.
Fresh off the boat.
So it is nice to see that there's more minority-driven casts on
it's
television.
It's just sad to see one that's this good go down.
Yeah.
So
and it's sad because you see it all the time. You see a great show, great cast. High production cost. High production cost will kick your butt every single time. There's been some great shows. Some reason I had one in my head and then I lost it. But there's been some great shows out there that have been killed not because of ratings, but because of how much it costs to make the show.
Right, and that sucks. And we will miss you, the Get Down, forever in our hearts. Awesome show. Thank you, Baz Luhrmann. Thank you, Netflix, for giving us one season at least.
I thought they were still doing the second one, and then it wasn't going to be a third. But did they cancel the second season?
I read that they canceled it flat out. We won't be getting.
I thought it had gotten renewed, and then because I thought I had heard a while back that there was going to be a second season, but I guess not. That sucks.
Oh, excuse me. We're not getting any more. It's already been filmed. So part one.
So we'll have part one and part two.
And part two will debut in April? What?
That's not right.
The first season was released in 2 parts. 6 episodes debuting as part 1 in August. Oh, August 2016 was part 1. April was part 2. I finished it all. So that's all we're getting.
We are done after part 2. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So there you go.
Ooh. That having been said, if you guys haven't watched The Get Down, please go check it out because it is fantastic.
I will give it another go.
Yeah.
For you.
It is not for everybody. I said it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So, and you know what else isn't for everybody else as well?
Murder Cops. Death machine patrols roaming the streets of an Arab nation.
Oh man! So, folks, Dubai has
Of all
put
countries.
a robot police officer on duty. He is the first of more to come. This is a trip. So, Robocop is roaming the streets of Dubai.
I hope he's liquid cooled because it gets really hot in Dubai.
Yeah. So this is, and go figure, it would be Dubai who deploys something like this.
They have expendable money.
Yeah, no, that's an understatement.
If they had to have fires for heat, they would just burn money.
Yeah, exactly.
They just don't need that.
So apparently, this new police officer is multilingual. He's designed from he's a customized Ream robot from PAL Robotics. But people are able to use it to report crimes, pay fines, and get information by touching a touchscreen on his chest. The robot also has a visual system that enables him to read people, to monitor people's behavior, okay, and to build pattern algorithms internally, just like Alexa does, gets better from us asking questions. This robot collects data from observation of human interaction and then builds an algorithm based on what it sees. But
so it learns?
This thing learns. Now, apparently...
Have they not seen Terminator?
Apparently, there's no application for what it's learned yet. It's just storing it, okay? The idea is this company wants to be able to build better tools, you know what I mean, in order to interact with the public. The idea behind this was they said that the aim was for 25% of their police force to be robotic by 2030. Now, keep in mind, Dubai is a place that has very little crime. And so...
nobody poor can afford to live there.
Exactly. So but apparently they're seeing a population spike. So... with the number of people in Dubai increasing, they said they want to reallocate police officers so that they can work in the right areas and concentrate on providing a safe city. So,
I don't understand why anybody would want to live there.
Me neither.
It's so hot. It's so hot. It's so hot.
Yeah,
they're talking about having to move the World Cup out of there because guys will physically pass out and die
from
because of the heat.
Yeah.
So whatever. I don't get it.
It still has like a it still has a very RoboCop vibe to it, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's cool. It's cool.
And I
dig that. I dig that it's it's the easy stuff. Instead of bugging a cop to cross the street, you can go up to Johnny Five and hey, help me across the little old lady needs help across the street, or you can pay a ticket right there, or And if it gets to the point where it's doing nonsensical stuff like traffic enforcement and parking meter fines and things along those lines, and it frees up police officers to actually do policing instead of worrying about that guy going 8 miles an hour over the speed limit, then I'm all for it. Just don't arm it.
Well, the cool thing, no joke, the cool thing is the plan for this sucker is he's 5'6" tall. And the plan is by 2030, they want to replace 25% of their police force with robot officers. And they want to have a fully automated smart police office, which won't require a police station, I should say, that doesn't require human employees. So they'll have an entire station manned by these artificial officers that are out there interacting with the public and monitoring for, for whatever. So right now,
I'm very interested to see what the outcome is from this.
Well, fortunately, you said don't arm them. So far, from everything they've said, all this thing really is, barring any of the terrible things that we could think of, they're basically robot butlers with a police badge. So you can pay fines on them. You can ask for directions, report crimes. You can submit paperwork to the police office. But there isn't a whole lot else that he can do right now, other than watch and collect information.
It's a walking iPad. Cool. So that's neat. And I guess it's a color scanner copier.
Yeah.
As well.
No, you didn't. It's a It's MFP. It's a multifunction police officer.
Fact, scan, copy, report a crime.
Oh, I'm telling you, but once it learns to think for itself, you're right. Don't give it a gun.
That's also, I would honestly be fine if they just literally didn't put arms on it.
It has arms. It's
like
it doesn't have legs. It has wheels, so it's not bipedal. No.
Okay, so make sure it's little wheels so it can't roll over rocks, so I can get away from
Or
it.
small children, like that security bot in Silicon Valley. Did you not see that?
No.
So hold on, security robot in Silicon Valley. This sucker. Hold on. Was it 2015? Hold on. So I'm trying to know if where is it? It's a mall robot, California shopping center. I'm trying to see which center this at. It's not South Coast Plaza. It's at the Stanford Shopping Center in Palo Alto. So of course, Google's backyard, Apple's backyard. Okay.
Well, Stanford's pretty smart themselves.
So check this out. So it's a 300-pound security robot, and back in 2016,
Did they name it Paul Blart Security Robot?
Oh, dude, it would be so funny if they did. But it ran over a kid at a mall on accident. It knocked him down, and
accident. Isn't that how Maximum Overdrive starts?
And so it rolled over his leg, and I mean, it left a mark on him, but it didn't. It didn't significantly hurt him. But get this, just like last month, I want to say it is, some guy got arrested for attacking it, and it turns out, when they did the investigating, he was hammered. He knows the kid who got ran over, and so he, in a drunken tirade, he went and punched the security robot and knocked him over.
He was going full Batman on the. He was being the vengeance in the night. He was attacking it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So the guy gets arrested for attacking the security robot. It's called Nightscope K5. He said he was trying to test the robot. I may have given misinformation.
I want it to be like a Weeble. Where you can knock it over and it pops right back up.
No, it looks like a Dalek. So it looks like a Cylon and a Dalek mated. That's what it looks like. So
it looks like two evil robots had an evil robot baby.
Yeah.
What's the stupid thing called again?
It's called the Nightscope K5.
Oh, and it even has a not intimidating name.
Yeah. So, and I may have given misinformation. I thought I had read someplace that the guy knew the kid, but the reports I'm looking at don't make any mention of that whatsoever. So disregard that. But it is funny that this is the same robot that ran over the child.
It does look like a freaking Cylon and
a Dalek
and a Dalek had a baby.
How funny is that, dude?
It's like a hyper modern Dalek. Just stick a freaking.
I'm telling you, brother.
Stick a plunger on the front of it.
Yep.
Or it's R2D2 without the legs.
Oh, it's so funny. So there you go, folks. Robot cops, they're coming to take our jobs. See, and
they took your jobs.
Yeah, and our administration's worried about foreigners, man. It's these robots, man.
It's automation that's going to take it.
It's fun stuff.
It's going to be idiocracy before we know it.
It's fun stuff.
Plants need electrolytes.
Oh. I love our world. I love our world. I love the fact that there are these things that we can look at and just smile.
Laugh at.
There's so much good stuff happening every day.
Thank you, the interwebs.
Thank you, the interwebs. Speaking of the interwebs, we didn't talk technology at all. I figured maybe
we just spent like 10 minutes talking about a robot.
Well, it's different.
That's pretty technology.
Yeah, I guess.
But go ahead.
So a couple of cool things happened this week. Microsoft announced the new Surface Pro. Not the Surface Pro 5, just the Surface Pro. Yeah. And it's the Surface Pro. It's
like the iPad.
Yeah, it's super fast. It's sleek. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
It inexplicably does not have Thunderbolt or USB Type-C.
So I understand their debate here. Okay, so here's the deal.
One of each.
Okay, I get that. But here's the deal. People are so stuck on this whole, why does it not have Thunderbolt? Here's the deal. Intel is still raping the extended market on the cost of Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is
Type-C on it.
stupid expensive. Thunderbolt is so ridiculously expensive, and there's no reason for it. It's just because currently the only Thunderbolt market really that there's money in is Apple's extended hardware universe and all of the
dongle market.
Yes, the dongle market for Apple, and that's the community that you can guarantee will pay it. So that's why Thunderbolt isn't even remotely reasonable. But I agree with you. USB Type-C is a thing, but unfortunately, as long as it's been around, for some reason, it's just still a tech community thing. It's an us thing. It's not a mainstream consumer thing. Mainstream consumers, I talked to people a couple days ago, and they're like, USB Type-C, what? And I'm like,
it's better.
But you're right. The fact that companies like Microsoft are releasing these new devices and at not least putting one USB Type-C port on it is the reason people don't have any idea what USB Type-C is. So it proliferates that ignorance, and that lack of knowledge about what the newer technology. I can't believe I'm using the word new to describe USB Type-C. So
been around a hot minute.
Yeah, I've had motherboards for 2 years that had built-in USB Type-C. So, and God, it's been a thing for 4 years now. So, the new Surface Pro is hot. It's gorgeous. It's Alcantara. It's once again, it got that Alcantara. I hear so many people on the internet talking smack about this thing having Alcantara on it, and they're like, oh, Microsoft's trying to be like Apple. They put a fancy fabric on there, and they're like, what's this stupid Alcantara thing? For those of you not in the know, the reason you don't know about Alcantara is because you're poor. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But Alcantara is a fabric. Alcantara is a fabric that's used on the interior linings of several models of Lamborghini. Several models of Lamborghini. Bentley uses in the interiors of their vehicles. So I'm poor too. So
my battery's
I can't afford
about to die on my laptop, and my cord's all the way over there. So we got to wrap this up,
folks. Chris is having a technology problem, so we have to cut the podcast.
I completely forgot to plug in my laptop.
It's all good. It's all good. That's a wrap, folks. That's what we have to talk about today.
And I just saved everybody Sean talking about expensive cars rant. So you're welcome. Okay, so you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, guys, thanks for taking a listen and following along with us. You want to hear more and find out more about what we stay up to date with in the news, you can check us out at geek.0.com. That's GEEKPOINT 0.com, all spelled out. You can also follow us on all forms of social media at Geek.0, GEEKPOINT 0 as well. Take the social media of your choice. However, we are very active on our Twitter feed and Facebook. We keep you up to date in all the things that are cool and awesome in the world of tech, pop culture, and gaming. So take us out and a follow, and we will be posting this up on YouTube, and Chris will get the podcast up.
And if you liked what you see, please give us a review on iTunes.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Be a little bit more popular, and maybe people will actually listen to it, and that'd be great.
It would be fantastic. So for that, that's a wrap for us for Geek.0. I'm Shawn Michael.
And I'm Chris.
Have a great week, Geeks.
That's probably one of the best ones we've done. That was fun.
That was fun.
But I gotta go because this is some bitch gonna die.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Peace.